No dehydrator, no problem. I'm going to show you how to smoke and dehydrate some hot peppers to preserve for your soups and chilies all winter on the Kamado Joe. Let's get started. Hey, I'm James from Smoking Dad Barbecue, and I absolutely love the fall for many reasons, but one of them that stands near the top of the list is switching into soups, chilies, and stews, and nothing sets these off better than some smoked hot peppers. And so where I am, my local farmer's market closes the week after next, so I'm at the end of the season of being able to walk in and come home with a fresh batch of hot peppers of my choosing. These are habaneros. They are perfect blend of heat, especially for what we're going to be doing today, as we lose a little bit of that raw heat in the dehydration and smoking process. And so even for our kids, as long as we don't add too many, one or two of these gets by for the entire family, but packs a ton of flavor. And so we're going to have a lot of fun today. I'm going to show you how to set up your Kamado Joe to act as a dehydrator. If you have a dehydrator, by all means, go ahead and use that. But it still doesn't add the smoke profile that this method will unlock. And I think the peppers and the soups and stews are better off for it. So without further ado, we're going to prep our peppers in a minute, but I want to start building some heat. So our first order of business is come over to the Big Joe beside me. I'm going to show you how we're going to set up for the perfect dehydration station, as well as adding some smoke into these peppers. We'll prep them pretty quickly after that, get them on the grill and let them hang out for a couple hours until we have peppers that are preserved for the entire season. So I keep these in a cool, dark place after they're preserved, but you can also freeze them if you like, and they will last all season. So any soup, stew, chili that you're going to be cooking between now to next spring, this batch is going to cover me, since you normally use no more than 6 to 8 at a time. And so this is the perfect time of year to go ahead, make a batch of these, set them aside, and you'll be laughing all winter long when you've got some of this great fresh produce that we're going to be able to dehydrate, preserve, and add a little bit of kick from our smoke to. Let's set up the Big Joe. So the key to using your Joe as a dehydrator is to get a small fire burning cleanly without raising the temperature too high. And so in the past, I've always used the slow roller to do this, but today I'm going to try the double indirect method that I've had amazing results with on every protein I've cooked, to see if it adds as much utility for our peppers. So let me show you how we're going to set up. First, we're going to drop in our charcoal basket, and I've already, just before turning on the camera, cleaned out any leftover ash, so we're getting great airflow. Now I'll just add a little bit more charcoal in the center and build a pile so we can light our Joe. Okay, so that looks good. I just added a touch of Jealous Devil just so that we've got a few fresh pieces to keep our fire going. This should only take a few hours, and so I'm not concerned. We don't need much more than maybe what this is, 15% of the basket capacity. Now let's get a nice hot fire directly in the center. So to pull that off, I'm just going to use my Grill Blazer grill gun and get a nice hot fire. This will go pretty quick. In elapsed time, it'll be about a minute, but I'm waiting until I see some of the coals ash over. Let's fire it up. So that looks good. We started to get some of this fresh coal already ashing over. So now what I'm going to do is drop in the base of our slow roller. And I'm not going to install the top just yet, since I want to allow some of the heat to come up and warm the dome, so I know realistically what temperature I'm working with, and I'm not getting a false reading of a cool, cold slow roller or deflector plates. So to help that, what I'll do next is drop in our divide and conquer rack. And then I'm also going to just temporarily drop in the X accessory so that I can preheat my deflector plates just like this. And so I'm going to do the pizza pie configuration. So this is going to help get a little bit of heat in the grill, up in the dome that we want, as well as our deflector plates, as well as our slow roller. So for right now, we're just going to let this come up to temperature with the bottom vent all the way open and the top vent all the way open. So at this point, you're probably saying, hey James, you said these are smoked dehydrated peppers and I didn't see any smoking wood added. And to my keen eye observers, you're absolutely right, but don't worry, I haven't forgot. I have a little trick up my sleeve that I like for this type of cook and different type of smoking styles, and it's one method I've never shared on the channel before, so I'll show you that in a couple minutes once our grill is up to temperature and it's passing the hand test. We've just installed the plates, just got our fire going, so right now this feels cool to the touch, and once I start to get some heat and see around 200 to 225 degrees Fahrenheit on the dome thermometer, that's when I'm going to jump in and start with our next step. While we wait a few minutes for the grill to come up to temperature, it's the perfect time to get to work on our peppers. So let me bring you nice and close and show you how I like to prep our peppers to accelerate the dehydration process, as well as make sure we take on some great smoke. So gloves aren't mandatory for this part, but they are strongly recommended. As someone who's learned the hard way, these pack a ton of oil, and even 20-30 minutes later, after washing your hands, if you were to touch your eyes or any other sensitive areas, believe me, you will feel the burn. And so what we're going to do now, all we need for this part is a toothpick and our peppers, and we're going to just start by poking a couple holes all the way around. And as the peppers heat up, what this is going to do is allow the steam to come out of the pepper and that smoke to penetrate. This will take at least an hour or so off the process and end up with a more uniform, even dehydration and smoke process, so that we're not burning the pepper, we're just drying it and adding in that smoke flavor. I'll take you fast forward while I get to work with my toothpick and prep the rest of our peppers. All right, our Big Joe is now reading just about 220 degrees Fahrenheit, and I have nice even heat all the way around with the hand test, so I think it's time to finish installing everything and adjust our vents. So let's open it up. So to do that, I'm just going to grab a high heat glove here so I don't feel any of this heat, and set everything aside so we can install the top portion of our slow roller. Got nice, clean, ashed over coals, if you can see that. I try and adjust the camera. So that's looking good, smelling good. I went with Jealous Devil charcoal today, since that's the strongest charcoal that I have for smoke, and something like peppers can absolutely stand up to pretty much anything that you want to throw at it from a smoke perspective. So let's get the top of our slow roller into position. Looks good. Our X accessory rack, since we're going for the double indirect today. And if you've not seen any of those videos I'm showing you right now, double indirect is what it sounds like. We are using both methods of blocking heat in our Kamado Joe. It comes with the deflectors, it comes with the slow roller. Normally you would use only one of those, but like I found on brisket, ribs, beef ribs, is that this allows us to run a cleaner, burning, hotter fire and still land at the same temperatures up top. And so my hopes by doing this is we'll get nice, clean, effective smoke without burning our peppers and cooking them too rapidly. So to do that, all we've got is our slow roller in, our deflector plates, which will be keeping our peppers nice and protected from that direct flame down below. And now we can install our grids, adjust our vents to where we think we'll need them, and let the grill stabilize. So the temperature has obviously dropped right after we closed the dome for two reasons. One, we had it open, plus we've also blocked that direct fire that may have had a chance to come up and warm our thermometer, which is why I wanted to do the hand test and make sure. So what I'm going to do now is close the control tower top, but I'm not going to put it all the way over to where we'll eventually land. I think we'll land, you know, just inside this first line here on the Big Joe, maybe even a little bit more to the left, but to allow it to still continue to burn a little bit more cleanly, I'm going to leave it in the open position until I see the temperature recover. That's up top. I will adjust our bottom vent though down to 1 finger's width. But before we adjust that bottom draft door, I actually want to remove the ash catcher, since that's going to be part of our smoking solution. So what we're actually going to do is grab some wood chips. These are apple, you can use any flavor you like, and fill our ash drawer with some of these wood chips, put that back in there. The coals that are burning and dropping down, some hot coals, are going to land on these wood chips, and they're going to catch fire and burn fairly quickly. But this is going to give us some nice smoke that we can add some more throughout the dehydration process if need be. So it's a little drawer that we can manage, as well as coming up through the coals to help purify that smoke, make sure it's clean wood burning smoke, not, you know, smoldering creosote smoke. That's going to be very unpleasant. So let me bring you nice and close, show you how I set this up, and we'll get this loaded in the Joe before adjusting our bottom draft door. So we've got our drawer set aside, and I'm just going to take the opportunity now, drop in a couple of these wood chips. Don't need too much. Some coals will land on that and start to combust. We can check on this in about an hour and see how we're doing if we need to add more. Load in our smoke drawer and then adjust to about 1 finger. So we've stabilized just over 200 degrees. Right now I'm just inside the top line on the control tower top, and that looks good. I'll update you if I make any other minor adjustments. For now, let's open up our Big Joe and get our peppers on so they can start the dehydration process. So that looks good. Everything is within the circle of the deflector plate, so it's nice and protected. Let's close our dome and let these start to dry out. All right, it has been just over an hour. We're losing our daylight quick, so I'll try and keep the updates coming before fading into darkness, but everything has been running incredibly stable. My dome temperatures are just sitting a hair over 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and using my new favorite tool, I ordered this a week or two ago after seeing it in a few videos. I think Mad Scientist is the first time I saw it. This has been incredibly handy. I love my thermopens. I have a couple of them, an orange one and a red one, and they work great. This is the exact same unit, so I'm not gaining anything in terms of the temperature readings, but what it has is an infrared sensor that's allowing me to take temperatures of surfaces. So whether it's the soapstone or cast iron or the grill, it gives me a better idea. And I love having data like that because it just helps validate our assumptions and repeat results. So if it works one time, you know what you're looking for the next time. And so this is letting me know that the grid temperatures are sitting about 30 degrees cooler than the dome in around 170 degrees Fahrenheit, which is exactly what we would want, especially with the double indirect method. So we're keeping the temperature below those peppers cool, so that they're not burning on the bottom, yet we're getting the benefit of nice clean smoke. There is absolutely invisible smoke coming out the top. Let me bring you nice and close, because now it's been an hour. We're going to check on our bottom draft door. We should be at the point where we've turned our smoking wood here into charcoal, and we're going to need to reload with a few more wood chips. Okay, let's take a look at our wood chips, see how we're doing. And just like we thought, we've basically turned those into charcoal. So that's not going to be really giving us much smoke. So I'm just going to shake those off so we can grab another handful out of our bag and keep on smoking. So while we have what looks like another hour or so, this is what we're gunning for, is a taste or a texture like this, where it's dried out, but it is still pliable, is not burnt. This is a dehydrated pepper versus a burnt pepper. And so when I like to add these, I did this one in a different batch, to my soups, stews, chilies, whatever I might be doing, there's two ways that I can bring this pepper back to life. One In a hot cast iron skillet, you can put this in and give it a couple minutes to warm per side, and this will become much more pliable than it is right now. It's just got a little bit of give into it at room temperature. That'll be soft, so I can cut the stem off, de-seed it, keep the seeds if I want. Or the other common method is to rehydrate these in boiling hot water. So bring some water up to a boil, put these in, take it off the heat, cover them, and just let that sit for 10, 15, 20 minutes. And then once you strain that, unless you're going to be using any of that hot pepper water in your soups and chilies, I do have a recipe. I'll put a link down below where that's actually part of the soup and stew itself. You either discard that and you've got your soft pliable pepper that you can maybe blend up and add into something, and or use that water as part of your cooking. But before I forgot, wanted to mention how you rehydrate these. By contrast, let's take a look where we're at. And so we are definitely getting some good dehydration going. Let me just bring you nice and close so you can actually see closer the contrast between what we want and what we've got so far. So these are looking good, but if I again just contrast what we want, that's that nice dehydrated pepper, still has a little bit of give. And where we're at right now is these are still just pushing out some steam. So they're starting to get that dehydrated look. This one's looking a little bit better, but that is still soft, and there is no burning or anything like that on the bottom side. So it doesn't really matter if we flip them, they'll just continue to dehydrate like this. I realize now I've got those oils on my hands, so before I rub my eyes or do anything embarrassing like that, I'll go wash it off, and I'll rejoin you when these are done. So at nearly 4 hours later, our dehydrated peppers look and smell awesome. Getting a nice whiff of sweet from the pepper along with our smoke. It's very well balanced. So this did take a little bit longer than I guessed at the beginning of the video. We're now completely dark. And this, I think, is a testament to the double indirect method working also really well at low and slow temperatures. So by having a small pile of charcoal, a small hot fire, we were able to hold 200 degrees Fahrenheit with what looked like clean smoke the entire time. So I'm actually excited that the double indirect method has worked just as well in a low and slow capacity as it has for hot and fast, where you're pushing those temperatures even higher. So this is what, when we're all said and done, our peppers should look like. They still have their color, they're not black. They have a little bit of bend, but you could tell if you pushed it all the way, you would crack it and it would split open. So we can now either put these in a cool, dark place like a Ziploc bag and just store that in your pantry, or you can vac seal bag up a couple individual packets and throw them into your freezer. Either way, you'll have them for your soups, stews, chilies, or anything else you might get up to smoking over the winter. I hope you really enjoyed today's video. If you did, please let YouTube know by smashing that thumbs up button, and let me know by hitting subscribe or considering joining me in the channel memberships with more information down below. Until next time, I'm James from Smokin' Dad Barbecue signing off, and remember, don't be afraid to fire it up.